Good morning, dear students. This is your teacher Neelam Helawat, and we'll continue our chapter, that is chapter number 22, Chemical Coordination and Integration. Now, dear students, so far we have talked about the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland. Like what are the various hormones that are being produced by the pituitary gland. And in this particular lecture, we'll be talking about the third gland, which is called the pineal gland. Now, dear students, if you look into the diagram, see, this is the exact location of pineal gland. So, pineal gland is basically present on the dorsal side of the forebrain. Okay, it is present on the dorsal side of the forebrain, and it secretes, and you can easily see its location in the diagram. See, here also you can see the location. This is your pineal gland. Can you see? This is the pineal gland. And this particular hormone produces, this particular gland, it produces a hormone which is called a melatonin. Okay, melatonin. So, the hormone produced by pineal gland is called melatonin. Now, this hormone basically, it regulates your diurnal rhythm. That means it controls your 24-hour cycle. Okay, so you also have a biological clock inside your body. So that clock is being regulated by your melatonin. So it maintains your sleep and awake cycle. It maintains your body temperature. So what is the body temperature, dear students? What is the normal body temperature? That is 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, so body temperature 37 degrees Celsius is being maintained by this particular hormone. Now again, this hormone also influences your metabolism. Means it is involved in the breakdown of the compounds. It is also involved in the synthesis of compounds. Then the pigmentation, like your skin color. Okay, your skin color is also being controlled by melatonin. Then in case of females, this controls the menstrual cycle. What are the different phases of the menstrual cycle, the period of different phases, the ovulation, all that particular is being regulated by your melatonin hormone, which is produced by pineal gland. And that it also influences your defense ability. We know, dear students, so whenever any pathogen enters a body, suppose this is a pathogen, okay, and it enters into a body. So our body has a system which is called your immune system, isn't it? Your body has an immune system, and this immune system fights with this virus or pathogen and kills it. So this melatonin hormone also influences our defense ability, our immune system ability to fight with various infections. Now fourth gland, that is thyroid gland. Now, dear students, thyroid gland is basically present in your neck. Okay, as you can see in this picture, this is your thyroid gland. It is just present in your neck around the vocal cords. Okay, vocal cord means from where your sound is produced. Okay, we know where sound is always produced from the vocal cords. So around your vocal cords, this gland is present. And it is the largest endocrine gland. This gland is the largest endocrine gland. Okay, and it has two lobes. As you can see, it has two parts, two lobes. Okay, one on the left side, another is on the right side. So there are two lobes, and these two lobes, they are connected with isthmus. So if you look at the third diagram, this particular structure is referred to as isthmus. So we can use a different color. This particular portion is called isthmus. So the two lobes of the thyroid gland, they are connected with each other, and that portion that is connecting these two lobes is called isthmus. Okay, right, everyone? Okay, so this isthmus is basically a connective tissue. So what is the definition of connective tissue? The tissue that connects, right, that tissue that connects. So isthmus connects your two lobes of the thyroid gland. So that is why it is called a connective tissue. Okay, we call it as connective tissue. Now this thyroid gland which is there, it is made up of two parts. One is follicles, another is stromal cells. As you can see in the cells, these are the follicles. Okay, and these follicles, they constitute the stromal tissues. So two kinds of tissues they are present. That is your follicles and the stromal tissues. So thyroid gland is made up of follicles and the stromal tissues. Okay, everyone? Now, the hormones which are produced here. There are two hormones which are produced here. One is thyroxine tetraiodothyronin. Okay, thyroxine tetraiodothyronin, that is T4. So simply we can call it as T4. And next is triiodothyronin, that is T3. So these are the you can say two hormones. Then is thyrocalcitonin. Okay, the second important hormone is thyrocalcitonin, that is TCT. Now coming to the functions of T4 and T3. So T4 and T3, dear students, they perform very important functions. First of all, they regulate your basal metabolic rate, that is your BMR. That means they bring about the, you can say, carbohydrate, fat and protein metabolism in the body. Okay, that is how they regulate their BMR. Then your physical, mental and sexual development. So in a way they control your physical, mental and the sexual development. We know that in basically all these hormones, they are highly produced in the adolescence age or the puberty stage, and this is the stage where major changes occur in the body of a child or adolescence. Okay, and the body undergoes a physical, mental and the sexual development. So these particular hormones, they are produced in that particular condition. Next is it supports your RBC formation. Means we know RBC, that is your red blood cells, they are formed in the bone marrow. So it also supports or it regulates your RBC formation. Then as I told you, it controls your metabolism of fats and proteins and fats in the body, and thus it regulates your BMR. Now again, the amount of water. See, we know that 70% of the 70% of the liquid present in our body is water. And electrolyte means the ions, the concentration of ions like sodium ions, potassium ions, hydrogen ions. So this T3 and T4, they help in maintaining the amount of water present in our body as well as the amount of ions present in the body. And since they regulate all these processes, this brings about us to the health. So we can be healthy if all these processes, they are being regular, or they are continuous in a proper manner. The next hormone that we have that is produced from the thyroid gland is thyrocalcitonin, that is called TCT. Now dear students, it's a protein hormone. Okay, it's a protein hormone. And see, all these hormones which are produced by the thyroid gland, in all these cases iodine is required. Okay, like T3, T4 and TCT, all these hormones, the production of all these hormones requires the iodine. And can you tell me which food component contains iodine? Very nice, the salt that we eat. So we always should take iodized salt. जो नमक हमने खाना है वो iodized होना चाहिए. That should have iodine present into it, so that our body, when it requires iodine for the production of T3, T4 and TCT, it can utilize that iodine, right? Now, this particular hormone, it regulates your, so it regulates your blood calcium levels. Okay, the amount of calcium which is present in our blood, that is being controlled by your thyrocalcitonin, that is your TCT. Now let's understand the mechanism, the process by which this blood, you can say, calcium level is being regulated. Now dear students, I'm highlighting this. Now suppose we are taking the calcium in our diet, like the various food components. Can you tell me the various food components that contain calcium? Any idea? Can you tell me? Right. So calcium is present in the milk. Isn't the maximum quantity of milk, calcium is present in the milk. So when we take these substances, or when we eat these substances that contain calcium, so that calcium will reach the small intestine. Okay, the calcium will reach the Small intestine, right? From the small intestine, the blood will absorb the calcium ions. So आपके जो calcium ions है food के through blood में पहुंच गए. Okay. Now from the blood, they will be deposited into the bones. Because your bones, they are made up of calcium and phosphorus. I hope you remember that. So from the blood, the calcium ions, they will be deposited into the bones. Now the extra amount of calcium ions which have not been absorbed, they will be excreted out of the body. Okay, they will be excreted in the form of feces. Clear? So whatever food we are taking, the maximum amount of calcium ions, they will be reabsorbed and they will be transported to the bones where the calcium ions, they will be deposited. Now if there is any deficiency, like you can see, we have 1000 grams of calcium ions that can be stored in bones. So if there is there is a deficiency of calcium ions, then the bones will release the calcium ions back into the blood. Okay, the bones, they will release the calcium ions back into the blood. And when it will reach the kidneys, kidneys, they will filter the blood. Okay, they will filter the blood, and the calcium, you can say extra amount of calcium ions, they will be excreted in the form of urine. They will be excreted out of the body. So we should have the amount of calcium ions that we are taking in the diet is then stored into the bones. And whenever required, whenever there is an excess quantity of calcium ions, then it is being removed out of the body in the form of urine as well as in the form of feces. So calcium ions, they're very, very important. Right, everyone? Calcium ions, they're very, very important. Calcium ions, they're very, very important. And they help in the strength of the bones. The bones, you can say strength of the bones is increased by the calcium ions. Okay, is it clear, everyone? Okay, now coming to the next part that we have, hypothyroidism, that is goiter. Now if you look into the pictures, just look at this person. He's having a goiter in his neck. So if these are basically the abnormalities, the problems, the deficiencies, if you are not taking the iodine properly in your diet, so in that case, these hormones, they will not be produced. So we should know what are the iodine rich foods. Like you have seaweed, strawberries, you can have navy beans, you can have yogurt, that is your dahi. Okay, milk, eggs, they all contain iodine. So we should take lot of these materials. Since iodine is required for the production of T3, T4 and TCT. So all these hormones, they require the production of, for their production, iodine is required. And if there is no iodine, if there is a deficiency of iodine in our diet, अगर हमारी diet में iodine की कमी हो जाएगी, so we will have this kind of swelling in the neck. And this swelling in the neck is called goiter. This particular condition is called a goiter. Okay. So this is the enlargement of the thyroid gland. जब हमारी डाइट में आयोडीन की कमी हो जाती है तो हमारा थायराइड ग्लैंड जो है ये स्वेल कर जाता है, स्वेलिंग आ जाती है उसमें, और इस कंडीशन को हम कहते हैं गोइटा. राइट नाउ बिकॉज ऑफ दिस इफ वी डू नॉट हैव प्रॉपर आयोडीन इन द डाइट, द फीमेल्स, इन केस ऑफ फीमेल्स, आर menstrual cycle will become irregular. Okay, the menstrual cycle will become irregular, and you can say the production of less amount of these hormones. Hyper means less. So if your thyroid is not functioning properly, it will not be producing the T3, T4 and TCT hormones. So in that condition, that will affect our growth. Okay, growth will be stunted. That will result in the mental retardation. The person will have a low intelligence level. The skin will be abnormal, and the person might be deaf also. If you look at the pictures, just look at the skin color these people have. Just look at the skin color, isn't it? They are highly pigmented. They are highly black. This is not the normal skin color. So the skin color also indicates the deficiency of iodine. Okay, everyone? So if your diet is deficient in iodine, then only in that condition the skin will become, this kind of skin will be there, like you will become highly black. Okay, highly pigmented. the skin will not remain, will not be able to remain its original color. Then is hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism means, hyper means more. If the thyroid hormone is not functioning normally and it is producing large quantities of thyroid hormones. Okay, hyperthyroidism means when large quantity of thyroid hormones are produced, that is your T3, T4 and TCT, they are produced in excess quantity. Okay, then also it affects your physiological activities. Now you see, in case if you look in this picture also, just see the thyroid, the more activity of thyroid gland is leading to cancer nodules, is leading to the formation of cancer nodules in the thyroid gland. Then it might lead to another disease which is called Graves' disease. Okay, if more amount of you can say thyroid hormones are produced, like if you look at the eyes the lady has, it has a bulging eyes. Okay, it has a bulging eyes, there is protrusion of the eyes, basal metabolic rate will increase, and there is a weight loss will also occur. So this particular disease is referred to as Graves' disease, and it is only caused when your thyroid gland is producing large amount of thyroid hormones. There is another gland which is present in the close proximity of the this thyroid gland, and that gland is called parathyroid gland. As you can see in the picture, the 4 lobes of this gland, 2 on the either side, 2 on the left and 2 on the right side of your thyroid gland. So this gland is called the thyroid gland. So as I told you, it has 4 glands which are present on the back side of the thyroid gland, 1 pair on the either side, and this particular gland is called thyroid gland, and it produces a hormone which is called PTH, that is parathyroid hormone. Okay, the hormone is called parathyroid hormone. Just look now in this picture, it is more clearer. As you can see, 4 lobes are there, 2 on the left, 2 on the right. Now this particular hormones, it helps in the absorption of calcium ions. ये जो आपका पैराथायरॉयड हार्मोन है, ये आपकी कैल्शियम अमाउंट ऑफ कैल्शियम आयंस को इंक्रीज करता है ब्लड में. ठीक है, सो ब्लड में कैल्शियम लेवल आयंस का लेवल इंक्रीज हो जाता है. Now because of this, the bones will absorb lots of calcium. जैसा कि हमने पीछे पिक्चर में, as we have seen the last picture, that the calcium ions from the blood is absorbed by the bones. So if there is large amount of calcium ions in the blood, so the bone will absorb the, you can say, the calcium ions, and it will be deposited into the bone. So bone में आपका calcium ions का amount increase कर जाएगा. ठीक है, clear? And in the same manner, as the blood contains lots of calcium ions, then the renal tubules, they will also filter the calcium ions, and calcium ions are also being absorbed from the digested food. तो आपके खाने से भी कैल्शियम आयंस एब्जॉर्ब हो रहे हैं, आपके रीनल ट्यूब्यूल्स में भी कैल्शियम आयंस का रीअब्जॉर्प्शन हो रहा है. ठीक है, नाउ बिकॉज ऑफ दिस, दैट इज योर TCT. नाउ TCT इज योर द हार्मोन विच इज प्रेजेंट बाय थायरॉयड ग्लैंड. सो पैराथायरॉयड हार्मोन प्लस योर TCT, both of them, they maintain the calcium balance in the body. So TCT plus your parathyroid hormone, both of them, they maintain the calcium ions in the body. Okay everyone, I hope this much is clear to everyone, right? And there is no doubt. Okay, so coming to the thymus gland. See, thymus gland is present below your neck. Just look at the position you can see in the picture. Just look at this. This is your thymus gland which is present there. So it is located on the dorsal side of your heart and the aorta. So aorta और heart के dorsal side पर जो आपका gland present है, that is called your thymus gland, and it secretes a hormone which is called thymosin. ठीक है, ये आपका thymus gland है जो आपको पिक्चर में बहुत क्लियरली नज़र आ रहा है. thymus gland, और 2 lobes हैं, right lobe and the left lobe. Okay, you have right lobe and the left lobe, and it secretes a hormone which is called a thymosin. Right? क्या बोलते हैं उस hormone को? What do you call this hormone? Thymosin. Right? So which gland produces the thymosin? Thymus gland. Very good. Now this thymosin, this hormone, it helps in the differentiation of T lymphocytes. ये T lymphocytes की maturation में और उनके differentiation में help करता है, and it provides you CMI, that is your cell mediated immunity. Okay, it provides you CMI, that is cell mediated immunity. Secondly, it helps in the production of antibodies, and we know antibodies, they fight with the antigens. Okay, they fight with the antigens. Antigens means the pathogens that can cause your diseases, and so antibodies, they will identify the pathogens and they will kill them. So production of antibodies is stimulated by thymosins. Okay, any doubt, anyone? Okay, good. So coming to your homework for today, first of all you will make notes of this topic, and then you will read the page numbers 334 and 335. Okay, especially those words which are highlighted in black. Okay, so you need to understand the importance of those words. Read NCERT line by line, and if there is any doubt, anything that is not clear to you, you will immediately send your queries to me. Okay everyone? Okay, so that's all for today. Bye everyone.